Thank you very much, George, and again, congratulations on another successful event. Almost 1,000 people are here today. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you for my colleagues in the House that are here today, and also the senators that are here today. And I want to welcome all of you to Lake Charles. Lake Charles in southwest Louisiana has become known as the epicenter for economic development here in the state of Louisiana. As many of you probably know, due to term limits, next year will be my last year in the Louisiana House of Representatives, which means the day after 2015 session, I'll be like last year's toys on Christmas morning. Or I'll be like that day-old loaf of bread that gets shoved to the back of the shelf. But it's been an honor to serve the great state of Louisiana as Speaker of the House. Over the past 3 years and the entire 11 years I have served in the legislature, there's been one constant heading into each legislative session. And that is each year we face a budget shortfall. And this year's estimates are no different. It's estimated our shortfalls this year will be over $1 billion. And I can assure you, each year we all sit down and analyze the problem. We have many smart people working around the clock trying to find solutions to the challenging problems that the state of Louisiana faces. A lot of people ask me, why is this happening? Well, let me tell you, one thing that I've learned over the last 11 years, the problem never gets solved because there's no easy solution. There's no silver bullet. We show up in January or February each year, and all the big hopes that this is the year that we will pull some lever and the whole problem will somehow fade away, but that clearly never happens. Ever since the completion of our current state capitol in 1932, government has been growing here in the state of Louisiana. And I can assure you there are tax provisions and certain elements in today's budget that date back to the 1930s. For nearly a century, each spring, legislators have met and added layer upon layer upon layer to what now is a spider web of statutes, regulations, exemptions, and provisions. So in the 21st century, the problems we face are the product of an ever-growing government. This is why that many people outside the state of Louisiana, even inside the state of Louisiana, has said that we have the most complicated tax structure in the entire nation. And this is why the problem never gets fixed by a snap of the fingers in March. But we have to break that cycle, and it's time to break that cycle. We need sweeping, meaningful reforms to our tax structure. And this is something that will not happen overnight. That's why I'm beginning this discussion today, and I will continue to talk about this over the next several months until I bang the gavel for the one last time. I, along with President Alario and several other legislative leaders, decided several months ago the need for a comprehensive, in-depth study to examine our tax structure in great detail. This project is being led by Dr. Jim Richardson, a well-respected economist who currently is the director of LSU's Public Administrative Institute and has served as the economist on the Revenue Estimating Conference since its inception 25 years ago. Dr. Richardson has assembled an excellent team of academic experts in the field of taxation and economics from both Louisiana and from around the country. A key focus of their study will be the literally hundreds of tax exemptions, credits, exclusions, rebates, and deductions that we currently have in place. What makes the American economy so strong is our belief in a free market system. Unlike other nations who have their economies centrally planned by their government, America is founded on the idea that its people will prosper most when government stays out of their marketplace. But over the last century, we have created a relationship between the economy and the state government that is very confusing. We've implemented tax credits, exclusions, rebates, exemptions, so many of them now that we've lost count. And the accidental net effect of this is an economy that is less free. And in doing so, we have placed an undeserved burden on things like higher education here in the state of Louisiana. What positive impact are we really having on business and industry in Louisiana if our education system cannot deliver the skilled workforce needed to propel Louisiana into the 21st century? We must work to make government simpler. The study will look for big and bold reforms that will make more aspects of our government more efficient for everyone in Louisiana. Dr. Richardson and his team will also be examining the relationship between sales taxes and the taxes imposed on individuals and businesses. Importantly, the study will also examine whether or not the exemptions, the credits, the deductions, the exclusions, the rebates are still achieving the goals the legislature set when they were originally enacted back in the 1930s. Are they still relevant today? Efficient government is better government. It costs less and it reduces headaches for the citizens of our state, but something must be done, and that's why I begin this discussion today. It's time to stop procrastinating till the spring and trying to jam quick fixes through at the last minute. We need bold reforms, and those reforms take time. They take input from the business leaders, the taxpayers, and the citizens of the state of Louisiana. In my last year as Speaker, I feel that getting a handle on this is an obligation that I take seriously. Now, I'm also a realist. I realize that next year is an election year, but this is a discussion that needs to happen, even if it takes place over time and after I'm gone. We didn't get in this position overnight, and we won't correct it overnight. Over the next few months, we will be doing our best in my office to communicate to the public what we have learned and to eagerly articulate emerging strategies for moving the ball forward. It's my worst nightmare for our kids and our grandkids to be dealing with the same problem, the same issue 50 years from now because we were afraid to act. But like President Ronald Reagan once said, to sit back hoping that someday, some way, someone will make things right is to go on feeding the crocodile, hoping he will eat you last. But eat you he will. That is not what leadership is about, and that's not what our constituents called us to serve. Thank you for this opportunity, George. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today, and again, welcome to Lake Charles, and thank you all for coming.